Dogs and Vols. Hey, it's a big Saturday in Athens. This is going to be the biggest Tennessee Georgia game we've had on record. And Tennessee alum Paul Finebaum had this to say on Sunday when talking about Georgia, Ohio State, and Michigan. He talked about Tennessee and the Dogs. Here's what he said. He said, talking about Tennessee, he said, you could easily make the case for Tennessee being the number one team in the country, and we might from a week from today. The Vols were just dominating against Kentucky. They got run over by Tennessee. Talking about the Cats, and he said, talking about Georgia, he said another team you could make the case for number one, Georgia. They got way out in front Saturday in Jacksonville, held on, and then had its way in the final half against the Gators. Paul still has Ohio State as the number one team. Listen, I'm trying to think of. I think Georgia should be the number one team. They're number one in the polls. We'll see what happens in the college football playoff. I I don't. Ohio State. So people do this thing where if a team doesn't play, like smash somebody, that means that they've regressed or not as good. We saw that from bettors this week. The betting market now has Georgia as the national championship favorite over Ohio State slightly when they were slightly not, a week ago. I thought Ohio State, I thought that was a good win for Ohio State against Penn State on the road against a team you're better than, but you're not just going to roll over everybody. I mean, that doesn't happen. And Tennessee struggled with Florida. Okay. Georgia did not really. Tennessee struggled with Pittsburgh. Georgia struggled with Missouri. Michigan struggled with Maryland. Ohio State struggled with Notre Dame. I guess they struggled with Penn State. I don't know after a while. But, Paul's got them at one. Ohio State, he's got Georgia, the Dogs at two, Tennessee at three, Michigan at four. I think after that it was Clemson and then Alabama, or Alabama, Clemson, and TCU. That doesn't really matter. Georgia, Tennessee will work itself out, obviously, in 6 days. So there's only so much to be concerned about on that front. But, you know, uh, this is going to build up to be it's already, in terms of numbers, this is the biggest Tennessee Georgia game that has ever been played. And, Georgia's done okay in those games lately in terms of the biggest games ever. Make sure that you're taking advantage of our exclusive signing with Kelee Ringo. You've got to get going on that now. The tickets are already, moving. So I'm going to run out. I don't know when, but I'm going to run out. Pick it up today. With this, you get only so many people are going to get this. You bring anything you want, Keely will sign it. You also get a book included. It's a great value. It's an awesome Christmas gift. It's going to be November 20th at Red Zone in Athens, downtown. Keely will be visiting with us for the dozens of people that we have available tickets to. It's not available to everybody, so get on it now. This is going to be, so talking about biggest Georgia Alabama game ever, Georgia won it. The biggest Georgia Florida game ever, Georgia won it. Biggest Georgia Auburn game, Georgia won that. So lately, in particular, the games have ratcheted up, and that's been something that we've seen from Georgia. There's a lot that's going to be challenging for Tennessee in this game. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of confusion. Is there confusion about that? I mean, you're playing on the road against the number one team in the country. You are a underdog, to be sure. Um, you're going up against a program that has consistently played in big games. Um, it's a lot. It's If Georgia were playing this game at Neyland, you know, that would be a significant challenge. Okay, and if you don't think so, I don't know what to say, because Neyland gives Tennessee such an advantage. And if you've never, everybody's not been to Neyland Stadium. Now, I know over lately here, more and more Georgia fans have gone to that game because Tennessee has not been real good over the last decade, and more Georgia folks have gone up there. You can see the red everywhere. when they're doing the fourth quarter thing. Certainly in 17 and 19. I mean, Neyland had a lot of Georgia fans. 21 was a fair amount as well. I wonder how many. I think there's going to be a fair amount of Tennessee people in this game too, because they're hot and there's a lot of tickets for sale if you got a G for one ticket. Um, but this is definitely a tough game for Tennessee, no doubt about it. I think we should acknowledge that. We should also understand that they can win the game. I mean, it's not like they can't. When you look at Tennessee's run defense, which is an important metric, they're pretty good against the run defensively. They really are. Their problem is in the passing game. They are not good against in passing defense. They're just not. So Tennessee will have to figure out how to uh, deal with that. You know, this is a great week to be on Dog Post. Being a subscriber, I mean, we're growing in terms of subscribers, yes, but just being a reader of Dog Post, the value is on the message board, no doubt about it, and it's in the premium articles. But if you're not checking Dog Post out, you really are cheating yourself. Because one thing Matt is going to write about this week, we're going to hear from Matt, we're going to hear from Ryan. Later today, we're going to hear from Josh Heupel, Kirby Smart, and Hendon Hooker, and we'll get that out to you. But um, the run game for Georgia, Georgia doesn't have one great running back right now. Okay. They have four pretty good ones, though. And the way Kenny McIntosh ran the other day, if Georgia runs the ball the way they did against Florida, they will not lose to anybody. Forget the Tennessee part. Um, they just won't lose. And what I wonder, and when I was in Jacksonville on the sideline and Florida scores to get within 8, I was like, well, there's 20 minutes left in this game. This could still get ugly. And it did. And the reason why is, Georgia's played, I don't know, consistently it feels like they played 7 or 8 offensive linemen the whole year. They have played consistently 4 guys at running back. And different guys have slashed different teams. I mean, Branson Robinson, what he did against Auburn, Kenny against the Gators. It's been different guys. It's not been any one player who's just, oh, this guy's got to get going. Like Derek, it's not a Derrick Henry situation. Although you would love to have Derrick Henry, I think everybody would. But this team has a lot of different ways to slice you up on offense. Tennessee as well. Folks say, well, they're really explosive. Yeah, they are really explosive, and they also can run the ball pretty well. I mean, it's not the Tennessee that I don't think I need to explain this, but I will do it this way. It's not the Philip Fulmer Tennessee teams that they were just going to death march you. That's not what this Tennessee team is. They are looking at numbers and they are going to exploit them. I mean, they're running for 200 yards a game. And people, what they think about is, that's about what Georgia runs for. What they think about is Tennessee's explosive on offense. Well, they both are about the same. Running the ball, they're both in the same, general universe throwing it. I mean, Tennessee throws it for about 20 yards more a game, but that's why they're number one. Both of these teams are 1 and 2 in total offense. Tennessee's about 23 more yards a game than the Dogs. Yards per play, they're within 15 hundredths of a yard. I think I said that right. Tennessee at 7.4 yards a play, the Dogs at 7.2. They're both explosive. They are both these offenses can really go. What we think will separate these two teams is that Georgia's defense is, noticeably better than Tennessee's. Now, I think the caveat there, y'all, is that Tennessee has played better on defense lately. Everybody's thinking about that that Alabama game, and kind of Alabama threw it all over them, and Georgia could. I don't know, but lately they allow like against Kentucky. Tennessee really played well against Kentucky, I thought. And you're only allowing 6 points. I mean, you beat somebody 44-6 in this league, you've beaten their brains in. And they did that against UT Martin. I watched that game. Tennessee kind of 65-24. It wasn't something that was super memorable. I think, you know, you gave up 33 to the Gators, which is a little bit troubling, I would say. And the 49 against Alabama was a lot. So those are really the two games that sort of stick out to me in terms of Tennessee's defense, because Alabama just really did fly all over the field on them. But Tennessee did the same exact thing. I mean, I don't know if that was a situation where the defenses, just could not get off the field, um, or what. But Tennessee only threw it 31 times against Alabama and had a bunch of yards. Alabama threw it 52 times. I mean, I think if you're Georgia and you're relying on 52 passes to win the football game, or if you're anyone trying to do that, that's a problem. And a season ago, um, the, last year's Georgia Tennessee game, um, that gives insight into what this game could be like. Now, why? People say, well, it was last year. Well, yeah, it was last year, but you still have the same quarterback at Tennessee. You still have the same quarterback at Georgia. The defense is different for the Dogs, no doubt about it. But, Hendon Hooker went 24 of 37 for 244, a touchdown and an interception. Um, I don't know if Stetson outplayed him, but I know that Tennessee did not run the football effectively. I mean, they only ran it for 55 yards. Georgia ran for 274. So, I mean, um, when you look at the Florida game for the Gators and Vols, Florida stuck with them pretty well, generally speaking, in that game. Now, Tennessee zipped out on them in the third quarter a little bit, but Florida came right back in the fourth and tried to steal the game right at the end. I mean, the Gators got really run on, which is not anything new. Tennessee had about 250 yards uh, rushing, but Florida had 150, and Georgia's a much more efficient run game against than the Gators are. This game is probably going to come down to who controls the run game. I mean, so it is a lot like it's always been, because Tennessee's pass defense is not ideal. Okay, but you're not going to get the chance to. You're like, it's hard to convert 3rd and 10. I don't care who you are. So we have two of the best, probably 3 or 4 teams in the country that are going to be in Athens Saturday. Make sure you're taking advantage of our offer with Kelee. Get down there. Right, the link's down below. We'll see you in Athens.